Kindle Vella has been out for a week,
I have so many feels about it.
and of course, with my brain being my brain, I have so many feels about everything. Well, let's talk about it.
I have something to say.
Hello, my name is Charlie, and welcome back to my channel. My pronouns are they, them, and let's get into it.
So-
Kindle Vella launched last week in the softest of soft launches ever. I found out that it had launched because I literally kept refreshing the site daily as part of my morning routine to see if it was there yet, because I had a fear that they were going to do this. And they did, and it's fine. It's fine. There are a lot of features that I wish that it had. I wish writers had taken it more seriously. I have a morbid fear that it may not be long for this world, because while there is some really, really good work there, there's a lot of stuff that, like I feared, like I heard from people on various streams where they were like, I don't know, the story's not working, maybe I'll put it up on Vella. And oh, they did.
They did.
And it doesn't help that the site is counterintuitive in every possible way. There's not a good onboarding process for writers. There's not a good onboarding process for readers. They don't really explain how things work. And for me, I am super ultra mega confused because you have faves. So everybody who buys a chapter, any chapter, can give a fave to any story that they read that week and say that that was their favorite of the week, but you only get one every week. So that's a thing that exists. But you can also give likes on chapters, which is cool and nice. And you can also give star ratings to the entire things and write a review as if it were a book on Amazon. Also nice, glad that that's there. But I don't understand how any of this actually works. And when I say that, I don't know how to say this without sounding extremely self-centered and narcissistic. But when I look at the categories that I'm in, my story has more likes, more ratings, and isn't at the top. And that's when you tell it to go by rating. Like, I can understand in popularity, maybe my story's not getting as many reads as the other stories. I don't know. Reads are invisible to us. We don't know how many people publicly, we don't know how many people are reading the stories. We do know in our dashboard how many reads we're getting, but we don't know how many reads other people are getting. So it's possible that they're taking that into account somehow, or maybe the recency of I don't understand. I really don't understand how any of this works, and they need to explain that badly, because I feel confused. I think that might be the best way to put it. And it's not so much like, well, my story's better than the ones that are ahead of me, why isn't mine at the top? It's just empirically looking at it. I have more star ratings, I have a higher average star rating, and I have more likes on my chapters. Now, I don't know about faves, but I know I have received enough faves that for a while I was actually in top faved for all of my categories. They're not in top faved, so I don't know how many faves that they have received. Maybe more than me? Maybe that's where it is, that they've got more than me, but not enough to make it into top. And that's why they're ahead. But it feels very random, and that is problematic. One of the other weird things that they did is when you're looking at the top lists for each individual genre, the number that corresponds with it is not actually where you are in that genre, it's where you are overall. They need to explain like a little something at the top of the header, a little something at the top of the column there that explains what that is, because it took me a while to figure that out. Also, I don't think that the metrics that they're giving us are actually helpful. We're going to have to construct our own. It's still too early for me to do a full breakdown on how I feel like we should be doing, because I don't know the platform well enough yet. But I will say, if you want to get a sense of how you're doing, the top metric that I would be looking at is on story number 1, I would look at what is the ratio of likes to reads. I don't know what's a good ratio. I've talked with some writers. I'm currently running fairly high right now, which I am extremely happy about. So I'm currently running at a 61.5% likes to reads on the first chapter of my story, and then 100% of likes to reads for chapter 2. So in my mind, at least at this point, I'm starting to see a correlation between how many people like your chapter 1 and go on to read chapter 2. That may not be a solid number, and I would love to have you all tell me your percentages, your ratios. You don't have to tell me your actual numbers, but I would love to know your actual ratios on that, because that will go a long way in helping us to understand what's going on. Now, after that, I'm seeing a very consistent, all the way down, that percentage of people who liked chapter 1 pretty much doing a read through all the way through the story. And I like seeing that. I'm also seeing, and this is something that has bugged me a little bit until the weekend, I have a higher story follow count than I have an episode 1 read count. And I feel like that is because people are using the story follow to be their TBR. And the reason I feel like that is because over the weekend, those numbers came closer together. So people saw the story, went, oh, that looks interesting, followed it, and then went back and read it later. So that makes sense to me, but I still don't have enough to go off of to say how this is going to do. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be wondering about money, because that's something that's been a big question with Vella. It is too soon to know. They're giving 200 free tokens to everyone who uses Vella right now. And those free tokens, we do not get paid for those reads. Because remember, we get paid 50% of whatever the reader paid for the tokens. 50% of 0 is 0. So we're getting nothing. Today, as I'm recording this, the first chapter after Vella's launch came out, and I'm starting to actually see money in the column. Because people that are unlocking chapter 6 are no longer using their free tokens, and so I'm starting to see some money come in. But again, we're only a week into this, so it's way too early to be talking about money and how this is working and how this is going to pay off in the long haul. I will say, based off of the number of reads, because that's a locked chapter, and the amount of money that I'm getting there, I feel like my estimates for what my average income would be per token were right. If you remember my Kindle Vella video, which is on the channel if you need to go back and watch it, I feel like I estimated fairly correctly there. It's just going to take a little while to get the free tokens out of the system. Now, as far as spreading the word, I'm still working on that. I am looking for methods that will help get the word out and help to bolster this story. At least this morning, when I checked, I was not able to select my Kindle Vella story in Amazon ads to actually promote on Amazon. Personally, I have found better results in my ad spending by spending it through Amazon ads, because people are already on the site, they're already looking for books. We can target the audience we're looking for. I've had better luck targeting ads on Amazon than I have on any social media platform, but I can't do that right now for this Vella project. So I am looking at very low budget, maybe $7 a week, $1 a day budgets for Instagram and Facebook. I'm also looking at maybe doing a Twitter ad, but I'm looking at doing some very, very low budget tests to see what actually drives traffic. They would be staggered, so I can see, does Instagram work? Does Facebook work? Hopefully I can test Twitter. Does Twitter work? And really try to build that out and see. As of now, I don't know. I really don't know. And I think anybody who tells you is not in the know. I will say the best thing that I have done is promote. Being out there, being on the live streams, being on other people's live streams, and talking about the story has been the best thing that I've done so far. I have seen engagement on my posts about the story. I have not seen a correlation between those posts and reads. So I'm not sure exactly how to do marketing for this platform yet, but hopefully we will get that figured out. All in all, I am still enjoying the process of writing for Vella. I am a huge fan of serials. I am hoping that I'm creating content that people will enjoy and that people will like. I have heard some good things. I've gotten some good reviews. I'm hoping that that will help. I'm guessing what I'm saying is, if you know a writer that is currently on Vella, maybe retweet their announcements when they have new chapters go out, or talk about their stories, try to get a buzz going about their stories. I think at this point in the game, it's a word of mouth game because we're fighting 2 battles simultaneously. We're trying to get people to try out a new platform on Amazon, and we are trying to get people to try new stories all at the same time, and it's a big hill to climb. Having said that, I think that we're going to eventually get somewhere interesting with maybe a couple caveats in there. I have been reading a lot of the early press about Kindle Vella, and it has not been very positive, and that is troubling for the future of the platform. A lot of articles have been very forthcoming about the quality gap in a lot of the fiction that's out there, and I expected that on launch. I am hoping that we will see a sorting of content as time goes on, and that the rating systems that they have in place will actually allow good content to rise to the top and get the platform going. I was hoping that they would have more beta readers in early so that it would be primed, or maybe they would actually have an editorial staff pick their top faves to seed those lists. They did neither of those things, so right now the press on this has not been all that good and has not been all that positive, which is going to slow down adoption of the platform by readers. Having said all that, I still have faith that if we give it our best try, we can actually make something good over there if that's what we're wanting to do. I think it's still a valid place to build audience. I've had some great conversations with people on my live streams over on Twitch about the stories that have come out, and I think that this is really going to be a wonderful way to build that audience over time. We just need to see commitment from Amazon to keep it going and develop an actual readership over there that wants to read stories in this way. But yeah, chaos. That's how I would sum up our first week of Kindle Vella. Complete and utter chaos. Is it good chaos? Is it bad chaos? I don't know. It's enjoyable chaos. I am enjoying it quite a bit. I like being able to have the interactions that I've been having with my readers that has come over there. I wish that there were more reader engagement features on the site itself, but luckily they have been finding me via social media and everything else, though I would like to be able to connect those to my Vella account so that people could find me easier on social media so I could have those interactions, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, so that's my first week on Kindle Vella. What was your experience? Please let me know down in the comments, because I'm really wondering how it is going for other people. And that's it. I hope that this video was helpful. I'm going to be doing these kind of diary videos as we go along, sharing my experience on the platform as well as my stuff about my stories. I'm also going to be talking a lot more about how I'm looking at my metrics over there to try to help you all understand how to read yours. I'm really curious what your like to read ratio is on your chapter 1 and how it relates to your reads to chapter 2 and beyond. I'm really curious about that because that seems to be a very hard number. As my read number goes up, it's staying fairly locked in place for me, but that could just be me. So if you don't mind, like I said, you don't have to let me know the actual read numbers, just let me know what that ratio is. So how many likes did your chapter 1 get divided by how many reads? And if you don't know how to find your stats, they're on the KDP beta. So when you go to reports, click on the KDP beta, scroll down on the side, you will see Kindle Vella. Alrighty, and on that note, have a good one. Make sure that you remember that we live in a nightmare hellscape that is not going to get any better unless we actively try to make it better. So go out there and do your best to stop Asian hate, to remind the idiots who do not believe the Black Lives Matter, the Black Lives Matter, the Black Trans Lives Matter, and the trans identities are magical. And until next time, may you have the courage to ride your dreams into reality, and don't forget to have the fun. Bye.